let me share with you some more about the actual readers that go with each LLATL book. If you're thinking the question whether do I need them, don't I need them, must I get them, can I use other readers, the answer is very, very clearly no. You can't get other readers, and yes, you do need them. So let me explain to you why. We'll start with the yellow book, because as I've explained to you, blue and red, all the books are included, the readers are included. The yellow book is going to have 4 titles that go with it, and so with the orange and all the way through. Now you will see, if you're on the online store and you know Oikos's website and you're familiar with that, you'll see that it'll have the parent book, the student book. I'm going to show you yellow as the example, and then you'll see the student book, and then you'll see these 4 readers: Madeline, Courage of Sarah Noble, George Washington, and the White Stallion. And now you don't know whether you should get them all, because they're not actually sold together in a whole big bundle kit like this and said, there's your grade whatever LLATL kit, this is what you have to have. You can actually buy them individually, because when you've bought the one parent book for yellow, you don't need to buy a parent book again, obviously, because now you have the parent book. The next child that comes along, you've got your yellow parent book. And so you would have bought the student book and the parent book the first time. Then the second time, you'll only buy a student book for the next child along. Furthermore, you'll see on the website that there are ebooks. That is your story with your parent and your student book, and the same applies all the way through. Now when it comes to the readers, that's what I wanted to talk about in this particular session. And that was to say to you, I have mentioned that the readers are all very, very carefully selected. They are classics, they are Newbery Award winners, and their content is safe. You don't have to worry that there's going to be something a bit off or something a bit concerning as a parent. The content has been very carefully selected. There's not going to be bad language, there's not going to be relationship issue things going on that you feel is not appropriate for your child. They are just all very, very good adventure stories or biographies or stories with morals and so on. Now, one of the questions that people ask me about these readers is they say, what about the fact that LLATL is American-based and that the readers, meet George Washington, is American? Well, I have to just say that whether it's George Washington or Winston Churchill, the story's about the individual, about the person, about their life. It's a biography. They can be based anywhere in the world. And obviously, these moms who wrote this language program for us are based in America and raised in America, so they use books that are familiar to them. And I wouldn't suggest, don't use this, use a different one, a South African-based biography, because actually all the lessons are in the book are mentioning this particular reader. So you could get the child to read this. They're going to now understand and meet who George Washington is. You might feel it's not relevant, but please get away from being too concerned about the American aspect of it and the American spelling, because there's very few words that are American spelling is significant. And after all, if you think about the World Wide Web and everything, Google and all the rest, there's different varieties of spelling. So you teach your children the spelling that is your spelling and the way you see it, and that there's also this variety of different ways to spell the same word. So please don't be put off by your concern about there being American flavor, American style stories, because to us, our experience was it enriched the program. It opened our children's worldview. They were able to think beyond their own little world, as it were. So it was positive for us. The other thing that it did for us in this, just about the readers, is that, for example, this one, Star of Light, was such a beautiful story. You know, I read the books as a read aloud, and the student, each one of our children read it themselves and so on. But it introduced us to authors such as Patricia St. John, which we were so impressed with that we then would look for other novels written by the same author. So it really does open up children's awareness to authors and really, really good literature. So again, what I can tell you is you're safe. I haven't met somebody yet who has been disappointed with the standard of literature and the content and that whole experience of feeling secure and safe about using this particular program and not worrying about the content and the kind of literature that that's been offered with the actual workbooks and also the assistance that it gives the parent with the parent book, as I've spoken about before. So I could actually spend so much time telling you about all these wonderful stories because I know them, back to front, of having read them aloud a few times, and their content and how enriching they were to us as a family, and how much we enjoyed every single aspect of LLATL. And I can actually say we enjoyed it, even our reluctant language learner. In the end, I was absolutely amazed how he enjoyed LLATL. Well, I didn't think the day would come, and it did finally arrive. Quite late on in the program, but it arrived. So I can even say for even the most reluctant experience I've had of language learning, it even ended up going well. We stuck with it. We stuck with the language program, with LLATL specifically, what we're talking about here today. I do just want to, on that point, say, please be careful of jumping around too much. Find something that works for you, or even that you have to work at to make it work. It's actually very, very valuable to try and get through something rather than jumping from one program to the next to the next. The schools don't do that. If your children are in school, they don't change the curriculum every 3 months. So just be careful of that. It doesn't bring security and stability, that constant chopping and changing. I do understand if it's necessary, if things are just not working, you bought a program that is just inadequate or whichever. But we can't say that about LLATL because it's not inadequate. It's very, very, very comprehensive.